Hey, Steve here with Cardiac Cycling. Today we're back in the van. We're going to do some modifications. Specifically, we're going to do some insulating. If that's of interest to you, stay tuned. This is a 2020 Promaster chassis and a 2021 year model Travato 59KL. In the 20.5 model, Winnebago began to put some additional insulation in their vans. This one has that additional insulation. There are some places that it could use some more. So I've already begun to work on the back doors. Today I'm going to work on the side door. Word of caution, on the side door and on the rear doors, there are operating mechanisms that will open the door. You want to stay clear of that, because if you bind that up, you might not be able to open the door. You might not be able to close it. Either one is not a good thing. So let's get started. We're going to pop these little rivets out here. And a safety precaution I use is to grab a little piece of duct tape, and that's pretty small. Normally what I'll do, put a piece of tape over here, a little duct tape, and then go in where this little slot exists with the screwdriver. So if you don't have a little Swiss Army knife, a screwdriver will work, a small screwdriver. And once you get it partly way up, and I've got my tape stuck too well there, that's it. Now we have access to the screw. You want to put those little guys in a spot where you know you'll be able to find them again. And what I use is a plastic coffee grounds jug. We used to call them coffee cans, but they're not cans when they're plastic, I don't think. More of a jug. So now we go in on this one, same thing. This one's going to be a bit more stubborn. Now you know why I use a tape here. Because these guys would be real easy to fling it across the room. Fling is a technical term. I'm not sure why this one is being so difficult, but it is. There we go. Now we got it. So that's the process. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more on this top panel, and then we're going to take the screws out. And one of the things you want to be careful of when you're taking out the screws, this piece, you can see it's loose. You want to be certain you don't lose that piece. There are little tabs on that piece of the screw cover that are supposed to keep it intact, but they're plastic, and when they get inserted, I'm sure occasionally they get broken. It wouldn't be the first time I've seen that, so you need to be careful. You don't want to lose any of those. We got all the buttons out of the screw covers. Now we're going to grab the power drill and we're going to pull these screws out. One of the things you might want to do when you start this project, make sure you have a sign up on the other side that says "Don't open door," because that could be a really rude awakening. Or you could do like I'm going to do now and open up the window, so if anyone comes up and tries to open the door, maybe they'll see that you're busy. All right, let's get going. There are 2 screws that we can't reach in the present configuration. So we have the roll-off screen on here, and to take the roll-off screen down, we could reach those 2 screws. There are 2, one at the front corner and one at the back corner on the top of this panel. The roll-off screen has 5 screws and Velcro. It's easier to do this. Get a short star point or Phillips head screwdriver, open the door, and then just start taking it out. Once we get this last screw extracted, the panel comes off. And here's the insulation. This is it. This is what Winnebago's putting in, the 20.5 and newer Travato K and G. They call it automotive insulation. You can see it's foam. So if you wanted to, I guess you could take this completely out and put in Rockwool in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be concentrating on this. There's a channel right up here. Of course, you can see we have a gap to begin with. And then up here, there is about 3.5, 4 inches of a door that is absolutely uninsulated. There's no insulation in this. All the insulation stops right here. So I'm going to put in this channel some Rockwool. Got to cut some small pieces, and I'm going to fish those small pieces through this hole. I can do the same down here. So again, it starts here and goes through. I don't know. Okay, and so below this also, below this piece of insulation. So the insulation, you can see it stops right there. So I have nothing here either. So I may just take this foam out completely. I hesitate to do that because it does help dampen some of the road noise, but I will be putting Rockwool in here. Here's the Rockwool I bought. I just got R15. It's 15 inches wide and top to bottom is 48 inches long. This is a drywall T-square. You don't have to use anything like this. If you want, you can do a measurement here and make a little cut, and you can do a measurement down at this end and make a little cut. Even if you do that, you're going to need a straight edge so you get a straight cut. The key to cutting insulation is you press down firmly on your straight edge and cut just a little bit at a time. So that's what we're going to do. I'm starting here. I'm about 9 inches from the edge. And one of the things I like about Rockwool insulation, it's not like fiberglass and traditional fiberglass insulation. This is much more dense, and the itchiness that you get with traditional fiberglass insulation, I find I don't get with this. And I have done a lot of insulating in my time. One of my first jobs when I got out of high school was oil field insulation. We insulated a refinery. One of the things you want to avoid with insulation, you don't want to compress it, you don't want to compact it. Once you do that, you start losing R value. These are 3.5 by 3.5, and I'm going to start putting them up one at a time. So here goes the first one. So over to the edge, then up. Once I get it up, then I'm gonna shove it on through. And I'm gonna do this until I get to the halfway point, and then I'll start hopefully from the other end. We'll give it a try. This is the back of the door. So this is the part of the door that's closest to the rear of the van. And you can see we have an operating mechanism here. This is what opens and closes the door. So we will not put any insulation down the side where this blue wire is. You can see on this end, no mechanisms at this point. Because of this operating mechanism, I don't want to run any Rockwool down in here. So what I'm going to do is I've got one of these pieces of insulation that came with the van, and I cut it. It's a pretty raggedy job. The best way to cut this is with an electric knife like you'd use to carve your turkey or other meat of your choice. You can see, because this is a solid piece and I've got this curve here, I'm going to be able to jam it in here and it shouldn't drop down. So I should not have any interference with the operating mechanism. Okay, you can see we've got her insulated. Have this big piece in here, and when I put the panel back on, this that's sticking out will go back in there. Will it be a little tight? Yeah, it's going to be a little tight. Will it be tighter than I'd like it to be? Yeah, frankly, it will be, but still, maybe it won't be R15, but it'll be R better than it was. So that's it. I'm gonna put the panel back on, and I'll show you how we put the buttons in just a minute. So now we're gonna put these little guys in, and I'm not gonna worry about where that tab goes, but I am gonna start with it over in the safe zone, putting the tape on. Cover about half of it with the tape, and then I put in the back end first typically, and then I just push. And if it doesn't go in all the way, little knuckle, heard it click. All right, that's it. Same thing as before. We get it started at the back, push in front, heard it click. That's it. You can see from the side there, it is flush. We look both ways, flush. So that's it for today. Hope you got something out of this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Thumbs up makes it easier for other people to find it. The more likes the video has, the higher it moves in the search engine within YouTube. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, be well. Hope to see you somewhere on the road in your RV or on your bike in the near future. If you enjoy what you see on this channel, please click the subscribe button.